Good morning. Happy Saturday. I'm back at my favorite spot in Crape Park. It's a little brisk this morning. So, how did the first week go? The first week of the new year? Did everything go smoothly? Of course not. Did you get stressed? Did you get overwhelmed? Did you have any of those types of things happen? Of course, that stuff's going to happen. Okay. There's no way that everything's going to go perfectly throughout life or even throughout the day. So, to expect that it's going to is just unrealistic. But what we can do is we can always control our response. We cannot control what happens, but we can always control our response to it. When we get stressed, when we get worried, when we get overwhelmed, most of the time we're focusing on ourselves and we're not focusing on other people. When we're focusing on service, when we're focusing on how can I help this person, when we're focusing on how can I create the outcome for them that I want, whether it's your customer or your spouse or your child or whatever, then you're not going to come from those lower states, those states of fear, those states of anxiety. When you focus on yourself, then you're going to have those states of fear, those states of overwhelm, those states of worry. And you say, well, Tim, that's not right because I'm when I focus on my kid, I worry. I worry that everything's going to go okay. Well, okay, so do I. But are you focused on them or are you focused on how that's going to impact you when you worry? My, I offer to you the idea that you're really actually focused on how is that going to impact you. We all worry about our kids. We all want everything to go okay. But at the end of the day, if we're worried all the time, then we're worried about how is that going to impact us. The other thing to always remember is where focus goes, energy flows. So if you focus on the negative, then that's where you're going to go. If you focus on negative outcomes, then that's what you're going to have. Even if you're focusing on, I don't want this to happen, it doesn't matter that you're saying, I don't want this to happen. It's what you're focused on. So that's where you're going to end up taking your energy. Joseph McClendon tells this great story, which I've told many times. There's a highway from Vegas to Los Angeles. It is now the most dangerous highway in the United States. There's tons of wrecks because people haven't slept and they're all tweaking and swirling and whirling and whatever the hell they're doing, and they're driving 1,000 miles an hour. There is a telephone pole every mile. There is an entire mile in between the two telephone poles. And in between that, there's nothing. There's desert. You can literally go right off the road and nothing would happen. But yet, when people get into wrecks, which happens constantly, every time they run into the telephone pole, which is about 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet wide. So there's 10 feet, let's say it's 12 feet, that you can't hit every mile. But what does everybody do? They hit the 12 feet and they run right into the telephone pole. And what do they say afterwards? Of course, they're all okay because they're all drunk and high and everything else. Is they say, I can't believe it. All I kept saying to myself was, don't hit the pole, don't hit the pole, don't hit the pole, 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 bam. And they hit the pole. So whenever you're focusing on what you don't want, that's still where you're going to go because where focus goes, energy flows. Even if it's negative focus, that's where your energy is going to flow. So number one, if you're focused on, oh my God, I don't want this bad thing to happen to my kids, you're really worried about how's that going to impact me. You're worried about how it's going to impact your kids, but a lot of that is what am I going to do if that happens? Secondly, that negative attention is still going to drive it in that direction. We control the energy around us. We don't control events, but we control the energy around us. And so you're still going to drive to that attention. And that's not what you want. That's why every morning we talk about upload your brain in the morning with the things that you want to happen, not with the things that you don't want to happen. Don't watch social media first thing in the morning. Look at where is my life going to go first thing in the morning. And if you do watch social media, have it be positive stuff. Have it be things that take you where you want to go, not where you don't want to go. Last thing on this topic is there's an old saying that a brave man dies one death, a coward dies many. We can live over and over and over again our own death and meaning our own tragedies, things that we don't want to have happen. And it's not that you shouldn't be prepared. It's not that you shouldn't be realistic. You should absolutely be those things. Don't deny where you're at. Don't deny, but don't live that death more than once. If you have a big pile of debt that you need to deal with right now, should you ignore it? Absolutely not. But if you run it through your head 1,000 times, you're killing yourself 1,000 times. And is that helping you? No, that's That's killing you. That's hurting you from changing this. If you're in a relationship that you shouldn't be in and you know you shouldn't be in it, and all you do is keep running through your head that I shouldn't be in this relationship and you're not taking action, then you're killing yourself a million times. Die the one death, not the million. And the one death is face it once and don't focus on your fears. Fear always stops us. Remember, fear is the emotions undirected. When we direct our intentions, when we direct our emotions, when we direct our beliefs, when we come from that place of gratitude, then we don't have that fear. Fear goes away. And when we have fear, we're never going to take full action. We're never going to exercise complete effort. And that's going to mean that we're never going to get the results that we want. And it spirals downwards as opposed to spiraling upward. When we don't take most action, we don't get a great result. Then we have more fear. So we take less action, which gets a worse result, which then creates more fear. And now you end up paralyzed. When you take more action, you get a chance to have a better result. You get a chance to make a move forward. You appreciate where you go. Then you get more confidence. And then you go in a different direction. So be the brave person that dies one death and not the coward that dies many. And if you've got something that you got to face today, then you got to face it. You got to get up and face it. Whether it's the bad relationship or the debt or your weight or whatever it is, remember that there's no easy way around it. You got to go through it. When you go through it, that's when you build the muscle. Have a great day, everybody. I got to get moving again because it's a little chilly out here. Thank you very much for watching. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.